Welcome to Girls Gone Hallmark, a Hallmark review podcast talking PBS today. I'm Megan, and I'm a longtime Hallmark fan.
I'm Wendy. I'm a former Hallmark hater.
On today's episode, we are discussing the Count of Monte Cristo, Season 1. There's only one season. Episode 5, which originally aired on PBS on Sunday, April 19th. It's currently available to stream on pbs.org, the PBS app, and if you sign up for PBS Passport, you can get the entire season all at once.
Can I tell you a quick story?
Please.
Last night, I went upstairs. I was like, sorry, guys. I was telling my family, sorry, guys, I got to go watch PBS. And my husband's like, oh, she thinks it's such a flex now that she's watching PBS. And I was like, listen, you don't understand how great the content is there.
You know, I open up the PBS streamer. I'm like, there's not enough hours in the day. There's so much stuff I want to watch on here.
I know. And I feel a little like when the masterpiece music starts to play.
I know. I love that music. And, you know, they do their little, your support helps. Mm-hmm. I feel real good about my PBS Passport subscription every month.
Yeah. I'm just
support public access television.
A big fan. Big fan.
If you like this show and want to support it, here's a really great way to do it while also getting more bonus content from us. Join our Patreon, which is just $5 a month. You can visit patreon.com/Megan and Wendy. That link is in our show notes. It's also linked on our website. And if you sign up there, if you join, you get your first week completely free. You can listen to the episodes we're making over there. And fun fact, you can listen on the Patreon app, but there's also a way to add that feed directly to your podcast listener so that those episodes just pop right up in your podcast feed, just like episodes of Girls Gone Hallmark do.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I need a tutorial because I don't even know how to do it.
Oh, well, we should make one.
Okay. Are you ready for a synopsis?
Yeah.
Episode 5, The Ball. As Edmond continues to infiltrate the lives of his betrayers, he discovers more dark secrets that could destroy their reputations. Meanwhile, Mercedes, trapped in the middle of his revenge plot, begins to suspect his true identity.
We have a full rundown of the cast and crew of The Count of Monte Cristo available on our website, girlsgonehallmark.com, which is linked in our show notes. It'll take you directly to the page for this episode. Girlsgonehallmark.com is chock full of information about Hallmark and our PBS shows. So click around if you haven't.
Which leads me to my next question.
Uh-huh.
Didn't we recently talk about if we needed to do our own PBS podcast?
I have a lot of thoughts about that.
I want to hear your thoughts. 1 and 2, did anybody write in?
A lot of people did.
Tell me more.
So
tell me more.
So I'll tell you what people said. We got 2 varying opinions. Some people said, you want me to read one of them?
Yes.
Okay, let's read one of them. Hold on. So Christine wrote in and she said, yes to a PBS podcast. I followed you guys from Long Story Short to GGH to Patreon and would definitely follow you to a PBS podcast. Can't do the reality stuff. Sorry, Wendy. So I'm not interested in the summer house coverage this summer. We're actually covering In the City this summer. But I'm loving the Count of Monte Cristo and the Forsytes discussions. And I feel like PBS has so many more good shows to dive into. I realize time is limited, but just wanted to let you know that I'm 100% in if you decide to do more PBS coverage. On the other side, and we received multiple emails on both sides of this issue, but Michelle sent a message and she said, I honestly don't think PBS has enough shows to warrant its own podcast. I think you would be struggling to fill content plus another Instagram, etc. I like having it as a little extra on the GGH podcast because the PBS shows that you're reviewing are very Hallmark-esque. People that listen to GGH can skip the PBS if they don't like it, but I think you have a good base of listeners, and by promoting PBS with SEO and tagging PBS on Instagram, I think you will build an additional following. Do you want to hear my thoughts?
Yeah.
My thoughts are that we should not do a separate podcast because you and I, time is limited. Correct?
Yes.
You want to do a PBS podcast?
No.
The disadvantage of having PBS episodes under the Girls Gone Hallmark feed is it's hard to market them. That being said, I don't know how many people are looking for a PBS podcast.
Sure.
I think they're far more likely to look for the Forsyte, their specific shows.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Creating another podcast means running another website for it for show notes. It means you got to promote it separately. And so we would need to have, she's right, another Instagram or another form of promotion. I think based on our current available resources, it's not the best idea to launch a separate podcast.
I agree with you.
Oh, good. There were some people in our survey who said, I'm not interested in the PBS stuff. And I think that's fine. Skip it. We're not compromising Hallmark content by adding PBS. We're covering The Way Home. We're covering Hope Valley. We're covering all the new Hallmark movies. We're not covering anything by doing Count of Monte Cristo and The Forsytes and whatever else may come. So feel free to skip those. Will we do more PBS? It feels like probably.
Yeah, if there's something that strikes our fancy.
Yeah, Forsyte season 2.
Yeah.
But I think it's not for us right now to do a fully separate podcast.
I think that is a fair and balanced assessment. There's just not enough time, to be honest.
Right.
There's not enough time.
The day we have a full team on Megan and Wendy Media.
Right.
And we have a social media manager and we have an editor and we have someone writing our newsletter every week and all of those other things. And you and I are just, all we do is create content and we don't write show notes, right? Yeah. Then maybe.
Yeah. So the answer is no.
But we're still open to your suggestions for additional shows that we should cover over here on the Girls Gone Hallmark feed.
Yes. Maybe let's take a quick break.
Sure.
Okay.
Hey, Wendy, what was your first impression of The Count of Monte Cristo, episode 5?
Without Google, how is Dantès gathering this level of intel?
Oh, yeah, right.
Like, it boggles my mind.
I know.
I wonder... I have some questions to pose, but later on.
Okay.
We'll come back to it. What's your first impression?
My first impression is Edmond is playing chess, and I don't know how to play chess.
Would you just get, like, completely hosed by him?
Yes.
Yeah. You know what is so... I love Sam Claflin. When he does this, like, sort of, like... head tilt, like, do you know, have you ever clocked it? Like when he's like talking to these people and he'll just be like,
I know so much more than you do.
Yes.
What an interesting thought you had there. You're so wrong.
He plays this part so well.
Yeah, he's excellent. He's excellent. The subtle acting bits he does are really my favorite thing. He's not a big actor in that way. He just communicates so much with just the slightest inflection in his face.
Yeah, I'm going to have to do a deep dive on him.
Right. I don't really know a lot of his stuff either. This is not always the case, but for a show like this, I think it would be a very different experience to watch it as a viewer than it is to watch it as a reviewer.
Tell me more.
If I were watching this as a viewer, I would just, half the time, I don't recognize which woman is which. Half the time, I don't remember who someone is. When I watch this show, it takes me an hour and a half to get through a 45-minute episode because I'm pausing and looking up names and trying to remember where I know that person from. You know, I'm in deep on multiple series at this point.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe I would like this show more if I were just a viewer and not having to be like, wait, who's that? Wait, what's their significance? Wait, why are they here?
Yeah, I have to know who this is. And if somebody asks, then I can explain. Yes.
Not just Sam's talking to some dude about Spain.
Some dude. Yeah. Yeah. Did you like this episode?
I liked this episode.
Uh-oh.
It's not that I didn't like it. It's we are in setup mode. And there's no payoff in this episode. So there's a lot of, what's he going to do to this person? What's his end game with Haiti? How's he going to help out Max? I have some questions about Mercedes. Does he really like and respect Albert? Is he really cool with Albert? Because Albert is a product of two people who he's upset with. What's his big plan for Danglars? And did he send Caderousse to certain death? Like, you be my decoy and just get out there in the world and let that guy follow you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you like this episode?
I did like this episode, and I was a little hesitant going into it because you had said to me via text, there's a lot happening here. And you're like, I have to pay attention, and I can't. I'm tapping out. I can't pay attention right now.
It was like 9:30 p.m.
Yeah.
I needed to come back to it the next day.
No, yeah, this is one of those shows, And maybe it is, as a reviewer, I have to put every distraction away
Absolutely.
so I can pay attention. I do wish my husband was watching it with me because I do think he would like it and we could be like, and
Yeah,
you know,
it's nice
whatever.
to have someone talk about it in real time.
Yeah. My biggest like in this episode is Dante's revenge plan is very detailed, very smart. He's thinking 10 steps ahead. It's slightly diabolical. When he was doing the whole telegraph thing, I was like, what in the hell is all this about? And then we see it unfold that the end game in this particular move was that he was tanking the stock market for...
Well, not that he was tanking the stock market, was that he was telling people that there was...
Yes. I have a very unclear, understanding of what the stock market does and
For sure.
the
But
manipulation
I think in this
of
case,
it.
he was saying there's he was sending news of there's unrest in Spain. They were like, oh, things are bad in Spain. Ditch your Spanish stocks.
Right.
Because they're all going to tank.
And Danglars has all this stock.
Well, and it's extra. I don't really understand how this works either, but it's extra sneaky because Danglars is working with Debray, who's feeding him insider information.
Yeah.
So he thinks he's being sneaky.
Gets rid of all his stock.
And then loses his ass.
I love it.
Yeah.
I just loved it. I thought, it's... And they have that whole interaction where they're above the stock floor, basically. And he's like, I'm going to hold on to mine. I'm just going to write it out or whatever. And Danglars is like, this guy, what's this guy doing? He doesn't, I'm smarter than him, which is not the case here.
I just love the way he's just so calm. He's like, well, I'm just going to see how it goes.
Yeah.
Just Sam Claflin's just cool as a cucumber. And at no point has he just been like, do you know who I am?
Yeah.
Like Reese Witherspoon on a DUI arrest.
Oh, yeah.
I think the character of Edmond Dantès is so interesting because we as the viewer or as the reader, I think we're meant to spend a lot of time questioning whether or not he's a good person and whether or not his actions are justified and whether or not we can be on his side. And as we progress, I understand his need for justice and revenge, but obviously we keep pushing the boundaries farther and farther into more extreme territory. Mm-hmm. And again, we haven't read the book. I don't know the full story. I don't know what's going on with his love of chemistry and how that's going to play out. But I do like that the show makes me ask the entire time, do I like Edmond as a person? And do I like watching Edmond on screen? Because those are two different answers.
Yeah, I
for
think
me.
so too. Yeah.
I don't want to know. Edmund scares the you-know-what out of me.
Yeah, I agree.
But he's a very compelling character to watch on screen.
Mm-hmm. Has there ever been a modern day remake of this show
That's a good question.
or this novel?
I don't know.
I don't either. You know what I mean, right?
No, I understand. Like how clueless is Emma.
Yes, exactly.
I think what makes this so interesting, set in the time period that it is set in, is, to your question, in your first impression, how is all of this possible?
Well, that's what I wonder too. And I'm going to talk about it in my wishes here, but I'm going to mention it. I wonder if in the novel there is a lot of
Exposition.
Yeah. Whereas, the storytellers for this show is like, well, we got 8 episodes, so we're going to just have to.
Also, the
Trim all
how
that.
isn't necessarily as interesting.
It's interesting to me.
It's not as interesting to watch. I agree it's interesting. I wonder too. I'm wondering about all of this. When the inspector is telling Villefort, Villefort's like, what's his name? How did he make his fortune? And the inspector is telling him, this is the fake name. That's his name. He made his fortune in diamond mines. How did Edmond plant that information? That all of those details are so interesting to me.
Right.
When he says, I'm going to give you 10 million francs, I don't know. How is that working without a wire transfer?
I don't know.
Or hauling in a giant chest full of gold? These details are very interesting to me, and I don't understand them either.
Yes. It's interesting to me because we're watching this show as well as the Forsytes, and there was a little bit of mirroring happening.
Yeah.
The financial stuff, but also Paris in general. In the Forsytes, where I don't know the time frame. Do you know how many years ahead this is?
Aren't we in the 1870s in the Forsytes?
And what is this?
1815 to 1839. So like 50 years different.
Okay. So in the Forsytes, Paris is seen as this sort of like not great place. Isn't that what you're picking up?
Oh, yeah. It's like a little seedier, right? It's not quite as refined as London.
And then in here, they're in Paris society. It is a mess. Like there's shady deals and marital affairs and all this like stuff
But it
going
is
on.
also kind of the center of the place to be. It is the place to be in the Count of Monte Cristo.
It's just interesting to me. I think my ending point here is it's just interesting to see how like messy it is. Just everybody is so messy. I have to ask you about the Haiti storyline.
Oh, yes.
Part of me is like, where did this storyline come from? Was I alone in that?
No, because I think they're telling it backwards.
Oh, interesting.
We only really learned, she shows up, we know nothing about her.
Okay, I'm like, did I miss something?
No, we know nothing about her. And then
how did he find out about her?
that's another question. I don't know. But Fernand was responsible for her father's death.
Right.
And so that's the other thing where I feel like with Haiti and with the children of Mr. Morel, we're put in this position where we see how he is good to those who he believed deserves it. And I'm curious what is he offering Haiti the chance to have revenge in the same way he wants revenge? Or perhaps Fernand did her wrong. And so now he's bringing her here to allow her to witness Fernand getting what he deserves.
I don't know.
The funniest thing to me is it Fernand? No, Danglars is the one who's clueless.
Yeah.
Who still likes him. Villefort doesn't trust him at all. And Fernand is like, what the heck, man?
Yeah.
They're like kind of on three different wavelengths, but Danglars is like, I like him because he's given Danglars all this money to manage.
Exactly.
So, Danglars does not know that he's the reason that he lost all that money. So, I loved the Mercedes scenes.
Yeah.
At the ball.
Yes.
They're walking and talking. It's very intimate, the way they're speaking to each other. Mercedes has yet to acknowledge that she knows who he is.
Yes.
She's speaking like she knows who he is, but she says, you remind me of someone. And it feels like he knows she knows, and she knows, but he's kind of suggesting that maybe he's not that person. It's an interesting little dance, but they're so intimate in that discussion. It almost feels like it would draw attention.
Yeah.
If you saw them talking that way.
Question for you. And I think we may have asked this before. What's the time frame? Okay, he spent 15 years in jail-ish.
And then this is like, it's been 20 years since they were together, because this is 5 years in the future.
Part of me, my biggest beef is like, I'm like, how would they not recognize him? But then I'm thinking about myself. If I was 20 and met somebody and had a thing with somebody, 20 years later, would I clock them?
Right, because Sam Claflin looks the same. Because it hasn't been 20 years.
Right.
But, is it reasonable that you would think, you look familiar? And you certainly seem, he's very different from that young Edmond.
Right. For sure.
Who was full of life and very naive and
for sure
and trusting and loving. And now he's just this.
See something in the eyes?
I would think so. And I think she does. It's very clear that when he comes to their home the first time, she has a reaction.
Yeah, but she's got to question herself.
But I
because
think
you're supposed to be dead.
Well,
so.
at the beginning of this episode, she goes to the grave. And I think that is showing her saying, what the heck is going on here? Like, how can I believe this? Here's his grave.
Right.
That's very interesting to me. It's a little agonizing to watch because I want her to be like, it's you, right? I know it's you.
Mm-hmm. You want her to call him out on it?
A little bit. I have another question about her for you a little bit later. We talked a little bit about the telegraph sequence.
Yes.
I thought that was spectacular to watch.
Me too.
I actually had to rewind it a little bit, and I was very happy that he didn't kill the man. He just incapacitated him a little bit. The man's, that guy's done nothing wrong.
Quick working, too. I was like, geez, Louise, what the hell did he give him?
There you go. And just settles him down and telegraphs away.
I did think that scene was very, tense. I was, waiting, what's the guy going to do if he, gets up and says, what are you doing? I mean, Dantès could just be like, oh, I'm just
Just having a good time.
Just messing around with these things.
Yeah, because he had said, will you show me how it works? So it seemed like maybe they would send a test message or something. Maybe they have I don't know. I thought it was an incredible scene. And it really goes to what I was saying about like who really is Edmond at his core.
Yeah.
I'm like, is he good or is he bad? Or of course, nobody is all any one thing. You have any more likes?
A small one. I did like the morale callback.
Oh, yeah, me too.
You know, where he comes across his kids and he finds out, confirms that like Morel did think highly of him.
And now we're tying Max into Valentina Villafort's daughter.
Yes, I have a couple of issues with that in my wishes. Not a ton. So can we get into it?
Yeah, let's talk wishes.
I'll step right into it. First of all, Valentine.
Is it Valentine or Valentina? I'm not sure.
I can't
Doesn't
remember.
matter.
It's Villafort's daughter. She looks so much like the sister. And I'm like, who's who? Who's who? Who's who? They just both have like similar faces with their hair like kind of pulled back. Like, I don't know. But also I'm like, who are these people? Like, why are we? I mean, I know who these people are, but do we need like...
All of a sudden, I know.
Yeah, all of a sudden. I was like, why are we introducing all of these other like...
It's getting more complicated.
It's definitely more complicated. And part of me is like, there's so many storylines and not... Like, we're just moving so fast.
Right.
And that's why I laugh every time I think, oh, there's only one season. Just... Because there's just so many characters and it's moving at such rapid pace and it's very complicated and interweaved. I'm like, is there going to be a resolution in the next 4 episodes?
3. That's my biggest wish about this episode. This is a building episode and we are preparing for so many things to happen and there are so many loose threads. And we introduce even more, so many more in this episode. You know, we have Albert and...
Oh, Eugenia.
Albert and Eugenia, right? And then at the very end of the episode, I said, oh, Eugenia is in love with her voice teacher. Mm-hmm. Right? Then we have Max and Valentina. We have Villafort distrusts the Count. We have Haiti. What's going on there? We have this affair that Hermione is having with Del Rey.
Yes.
We have Jacopo going to get this dude Vampa.
Yeah.
Because the Count saved his father. What does he need Vampa for? Why does he have to go all the way there? You owe me, so come out here and do my bidding.
Yeah, I guess.
That guy seemed like a bad guy.
Yeah.
There's just all of these little spider webs out in the open and there's no resolution. And it just felt like, oh, we're just building and building and building on this house of cards and we have to start wrapping them up.
I hope so. And I just, oh my, I want to Google so badly, like, does Dantès win at the end? You know? Yeah, I just, like you said, house of cards. That's a great way to explain it. That's what's happening. Why is Dante so terrible to Caderousse? Continues to be so terrible to him.
I agree with that. That's my question too. And I keep going back to he's been betrayed by Caderousse once. And I don't think he's a man who offers second chances.
I mean, I did love that Caderousse was like messing around with like that lady.
Yes.
And it made me wonder like, oh, is that a genuine thing or is he just trying to get information from her? But that was funny.
I also love how he's like, is my life in danger? And Count goes, not yet.
Yeah.
And he's like, no skin off my back, man.
Yep.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
So look, we talked about the Morel children and Haiti, people who he seems to be protecting. Where do you think Mercedes fits into the pendulum of people he wants to destroy and people he wants to protect?
I don't know. If he is so, like, let's compare Mercedes to Caderousse. If he's so terrible to, he's not terrible to Caderousse, but he is terrible to Caderousse, right? For that betrayal. It just leads me to wonder, does he think that Mercedes betrayed him? And if so, then yes, then she's going to be treated as such. But I don't know if that's how he sees it.
That's the biggest question mark for me as well.
Will he be bummed if like she goes down with...
Because when he came out of prison, he was saying, the woman I love. He was using that in the present tense. And so as much as I can understand, she thought he was dead. At this point, it was only a year later, which I think would probably be a knife through the heart moment for him, that she moved on. But again, she thought he was dead. And this is a time period where women weren't successful on their own. She probably did need to have a partner. The fact that it's Fernand makes it worse.
Yeah. I have a question for you.
Yes.
At what point do you think Villefort actually becomes a real threat to Edmond? Like, is Villefort going to find out what's going on?
Well, I love that Edmond already knows what Villefort's up to. What this confirms for me is that Villefort hasn't changed. Villefort doesn't feel any remorse for what he's done. He's still manipulating the law.
Yeah, even worse.
And he's working with that inspector, and the guy's like, yeah, I can't be going outside the law anymore.
Right.
On the job. Like, I can do it for cash off the clock.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, you're still a bad guy. This is not a bad decision you made in your youth to protect your father. This is who you are at your core. So I'm ready for you to get what you deserve. And also, of course, we saw him bury that baby, and he lies to Hermione. He's like, the baby was dead when I buried it.
Yes.
My feeling is that the Count will come out victorious in the Count versus Villefort, because he sees what I don't know how he knows, but he knows what he's doing. And so Villefort is not as sneaky as he thinks he is.
Yeah. Are you going to read the book?
I am. I put no timeline on that proclamation, though. But yes, look, the kiss of death for any book for me is if I purchase the physical book, it's never going to get read. If I own it, it will take me forever to read it.
Oh, so you're going to have to check it out from the library, or like...
Well, I'd like to own it. It just, I don't know what it is. It's like if I buy that book, forget it.
Oh,
it's gonna sit in a stack.
That's all I got.
Hey, thanks for listening to this episode of Girls Gone Hallmark, to remain Girls Gone Hallmark and never Girls Gone Public Access. If you love this podcast, the very best thing you can do to support it is by leaving a 5-star rating in the podcast app that you are listening to. And we'll be back next time with more reviews. Goodbye.
Bye.
All right, friends, before we go, just a quick heads up. You're about to hear some ads. These little gems help us keep the show running and the Hallmark love flowing. So do with that info what you will. Grab a snack, hit the skip button, or maybe, just maybe, listen in and discover your new favorite product. Bye.